We live in the illusion that we are one steady identity, but the truth is we aren't. Inside each of us lives a whole inner world made up of many different parts, each carrying a different story. And sometimes these parts are in conflict. We live in a fragmented society that taught us not to be authentic, a society that encouraged certain behaviors while punishing others. That conditioning began in our families. But here's the thing. Every single one of these parts is what makes us who we really are. And yet, we spend so much of our lives fighting ourselves and fighting the world. Because deep down, we feel split. Today, I want to share with you the practice of parts work. A beautiful healing process that helps us sit with those parts, listen to them, understand them, and slowly invite them back into wholeness. In this video, we'll first explore why this inner conflict exists, where they come from, what these different parts really want, and why sometimes they seem to work against us. Then I'll guide you step by step through the process of parts work, so you can start practicing it right away. The system we live in is designed to keep us trapped. We grew up pleasing society, meeting its requirements, day by day suppressing our authentic expression, and ultimately our very joy. As children, we quickly noticed that in our environment, some behaviors were rewarded with approval and others were met with rejection. As a result of acting in a specific way, we got punished and shamed. Our truth was invalidated, our feelings shut down, and we felt abandoned by the very people we relied on for love and safety. That triggered our survival instinct. A sense of belonging was necessary for our physical and emotional survival, especially as little vulnerable children. So, in order to fit in and get that sense of belonging back, we had only one choice: to dismiss the parts of ourselves that received negative feedback. The aspects of us that we disowned were exiled into the subconscious, where we forgot about them. Out of sight, out of mind. They became our shadows, not because they were bad, but because we were no longer aware of them. To prevent them from resurfacing, we developed their counterparts, their good twins, opposite parts, known as protectors. Their main goal is to keep our identity and sense of self intact, socially acceptable, in order to guarantee our survival. Self-abandonment granted us safety, but at the expense of our authenticity. Those shadows were dismissed for the wrong reason. Their pain was never understood. So from time to time they call for attention, like children crying to be seen and held. Every time we meet someone that mirrors our shadows, our protector activates and we feel triggered. By the way, this is a great opportunity to do parts work. We go into fight or flight and reject the shadow in the other person because we don't want to see it within ourselves. The more we resist accepting a shadow inside, the more we encounter it in the form of people, situation, words. We are in a constant fight with ourselves, even if we aren't aware of it. And we keep blaming external causes. Everything we aren't conscious of ends up directing our life. Emotions that were never released stay trapped in our body for years, without us even knowing, until the day we sit down, let go, and close the circle. Integration means connecting the dots, putting the piece of the puzzle back together. Think of it like reverse engineering. We are unlearning the mistakes of the past, undoing the damage. Integration means going from fragmented to whole again. From self-abandonment to self-love, from lost to found. It's the journey of finding, accepting, seeing and claiming back those parts of our personality. There's no peace, no authenticity, no alignment without the integration of these shadows. So how do we solve these inner conflicts? Parts work is an amazing tool that opens space for us to observe and let the two parts, shadow and protector, dialogue and express their own feelings, needs, beliefs. Let's see how it works. Step 1. Find a comfortable and quiet place, like you would do for a meditation. Take a deep breath and observe from a neutral, grounded state. This neutral awareness is often called the central personality. From here, you can disidentify from the protector, which is an aspect of your ego, and observe all the parts involved without taking a side. This is very important. You work from a place of no judgment, curiosity, and active listening. Step 2. Choose the part you want to work with, the one that feels more dominant, often a protector. For example, if I want to work on my binge eating, I might connect with the part that constantly craves food. Spend a few moments sensing its energy. Visualize it. Is it human or something else? Is it male or female? Is big or small? Young or old? How is it dressed? What is its attitude? Does it remind you of a character from a book, a movie? Give this part a name to distinguish it from the other parts involved and to actually disidentify. You are not this part, you are looking at it, so you can work with it. Example, in my case, this part can feel like a huge white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, always rushing towards the food and is unable to stop eating whenever he is given the chance. Step 3. Now channel the part. Speak, think and feel as if you were that part, even if it means accepting values and beliefs that aren't yours. At first it might feel strange, but it improves with practice. Don't judge with your rational mind and make sure your higher perspective is always holding space. A common fear for people is that by letting this part express itself, it might take over. In reality, the opposite is true. When you bulldoze a part and you store it in your subconscious and prevent it from speaking its truth, it will run havoc behind the scenes. Have you ever had the sensation that it wasn't you to do or say something when it was actually you? This is why. Step 4. Approach the part with curiosity. Ask questions, listen carefully, collect as much data as you can. You want to become an expert of this part, treat it as if it was an old friend of yours and you want to catch up. Especially pay attention to emotions, needs, beliefs, and the narrative. My example again, Wet Rabbit may feel a lot of stress and anxiety and nervousness because is trying to numb out certain emotions. He doesn't want to listen to these emotions because they will cause me pain and is protecting me. So he finds a good distraction in food because it's easy, it's quick, and it serves the purpose. So the emotions I find out, it's fear, because we said it's fear that causes anxiety. The belief might be I can't cope with the grief. And the unmet needs that this part is starving from is maybe instant relief, gratification. When you channel this part, observe any reaction, any answers, any emotion that may be arising with no judgment always. Even if they sound bad, the unfiltered, the better. You are going deep. The more accepting you are, the more the part feels relaxed and trusts you, opening up and sharing its truth. Sometimes the part might be very friendly and open and just talkative, expressive. Other times it may be silent because it's deeply hurt. Everything is valuable, everything is precious, just give presence whatever is there. Once that part has expressed itself fully, it's the moment to step into your central perspective again. Then repeat the same process with the other part that you will find out. Often a shadow that carries its different side of the story, totally opposite. Example, if I sit with the wet rabbit enough, something will shift and I'll start sensing a new layer of emotions. I found the opposite part, that part that my protector wants to keep out of my consciousness, the shadow. This part looks like a tiny little girl dressed in rags, and she is grieving and just wants to be seen and held. The shadow is the actual keeper of the grief that the protector was trying to suppress. See how the cycle is closing. You may need to go back and forth between the two parts, especially if one is shy, slow to open, or deeply hurt. Be patient and create a safe space where all the parts can feel free to open up and share their feelings. Step 6. By seeing and hearing these parts deeply, integration has already begun. But for it to be complete, the two parts need to find a common ground, an agreement that leaves none of them unsatisfied, that pleases everybody. So now the white rabbit feels seen. I know why he needs to eat all the time. Its major fear is that I won't be able to cope with the grief. But I stayed grounded and I told the part that it's safe, that I can cope with the grief, that I'm not a child anymore, I can go through my emotions. So the part relaxed. Let me see actually the shadow. On the other hand, what the shadow wanted was to be listened to, validated in its pain. Wanted just comfort and empathy. And I achieved that by going through the emotion, feeling through the grief, the entirety of it. So both parts are free now, after years of struggle and inner tension. You will instantly feel like some big shift happening inside of your energy. Your role as the observer is to hold space and help the two parts unravel. Don't push for resolution or try manipulate. Trust the process. Integration happens when both parts feel safe, understood, validated, listened to, and safe enough to merge back into your consciousness. When that happens, the inner conflict dissolves and you will experience a deeper sense of peace and wholeness. As you heal your inner splits, your choices, actions, and desires will align, and your life will shift in beautiful ways. That's it for today. If you found this video helpful, please let me know, leave a comment and a like, I really appreciate that. Until the next video, happy healing!